Most people think that IVF starts on day one of stimulation. From a biological perspective, that is already too late. The most important part of IVF happens 90 days before the cycle even begins, when the egg and sperm develop. There's inflammation signaling, metabolic conditions that are quietly setting the ceiling for the outcome. In this episode, I'm breaking down why rushing into a cycle without understanding what's actually happening during the window often leads to repeat failure, even when everything looks normal on paper. Hi, I'm Sarah Clark, founder of FabFertile and host of Get Pregnant Naturally, a functional fertility second opinion. So for over a decade, I've worked with couples navigating IVF failure, embryo arrest, diminished ovarian reserve, being told everything looks normal in your labs, or being told you have low AMH or high FSH, but no one's dug deeper. Using functional nutrition, functional medicine, and a systems-based approach. Our team includes licensed practitioners. We have medical case reviewers. Our work focuses on identifying the physiological patterns that quietly limit success long before the cycle actually begins. The three patterns that we're seeing here: egg and sperm quality are already determined before stimulation begins. IVF stimulation does not create egg quality. It recruits follicles that have been developing for weeks to months, and these follicles are going to reflect the metabolic conditions in your body, inflammatory signaling. If your high sensitivity C-reactive protein is more than 1, is there inflammation? And we see this regularly with our clients. Getting focused on the diagnosis of diminished ovarian reserve, or focused on your age, or just try again, or how did you get to the IVF clinic? And people will say, I got a referral from the OBGYN, next thing I'm doing IVF, and no one's really dug deeper looking at my health. It reflects the hormonal environment. If you've got irregular cycles or hot flashes or insomnia, or all of this piece can impact your hormones, and if those are not optimized beforehand, that could be why. Oxidative stress, all the stuff we're exposed to, this toxic soup we're in, from the chemicals, all of this piece impacting the egg and the sperm. The same logic applies to the sperm as well. So it's not just about you thinking you have poor egg quality and then he's over there high-fiving the REI because his sperm is great, but no one's looked at the DNA integrity or the fragmentation, and we need to look at his health because we see infections being passed back and forth. So when the outcome is poor, stimulation often gets blamed. In reality, the stimulation is already amplifying what was already present. So if the environment is inflamed, if it's underfueled, or it's been stressed for months, that stimulation is not going to override it. It just asks the system to perform under those conditions. And that's why repeating the same cycle without reassessing readiness often leads to the same result. We have an IVF readiness checklist that our team uses to make sure that you've dot the I's and cross the T's. And it's not just about you taking a bunch of supplements and going to acupuncture. It's really doing a systems-based approach to see exactly what's been missed so you can be your own advocate and deploy the treatment when it makes sense. So pattern number, why pre-IVF prep fails when it's just supplements and timelines. A lot of the times people are doing supplements, and yes, supplements are good. But we see people are taking too many, they're taking the wrong supplements, and they just have expensive pee. Very few parts of this is investigative. We're just like, oh wait, we need to have an omega, vitamin D, let's take a probiotic, let's take some bee pollen, whatever it is, some of the supplement of the day, some NAC, some NAD, which can be good by themselves, but maybe your body doesn't need that. Adding the support without removing the interference, what is causing inflammation, what is causing oxidative stress, what is the reason, is rarely going to change outcomes. If the inflammation, that's never been looked at, we don't know where it's coming in from, and no one's actually addressed it, are these supplements going to override it? Perhaps not. Blood sugar. So you're being told that your blood sugar is normal. We want to make sure it's optimal. If your glucose or your A1C, is the blood sugar instability causing this not to work? The gut and immune signaling, that's going to drain your resources if you got infections or an overgrowth of bad bacteria. The whole stress piece. It's not about you thinking that you have to live in a perfect stress-free environment. That's not practical. If the stress physiology keeps you in a cortisol dominant cycle, that could be why it's not working. If the nervous system is on alert. When someone says, I did everything and it didn't work, it's usually because they're working on the wrong layer. We don't know what we don't know. Investigating, looking at the patterns that we see with our clients over and over again, we can a protocol action plan that can actually improve results. A lot of times the prep just becomes busy work when it's not guided by pattern recognition. We're just doing a bunch of stuff. Oh, I read the books, did the podcast, all these generalized stuff. Hey, I've done everything, but we haven't done everything that's right for your body. Pattern number 3. So the first pattern, like we talked about, was the egg and sperm quality are determined before stimulation begins. Number 2 was it fails when it's just supplements and timelines and not really digging deeper from an investigative standpoint. Pattern number 3, preparing for IVF versus auditing when you're actually ready. Preparation assumes the plan is correct. That what we're doing right now, we're rushing towards IVF. We've been told that's our next option. No one's done an audit into your health. Were the right systems evaluated? Did they under the hood and the foundation, there's some cracks. As we start to address those, then when we do deploy IVF, we can actually improve the chances of it working. Or the system's evaluated in the right order. There is a hierarchy. Is now actually the right time to push the system? Or is that $20,000, or even if you're doing a cheaper IVF, they sell them in packages of 3, and there's less expensive ones across the country, but typically an average is $20,000 a cycle. Is now the time to deploy it to push the system? From a functional fertility approach, is going to change the conversation from trying harder to pause and clarify. IVF is biologically demanding. We need to have the body in the best shape for this to work. And pushing a system that's not ready is just going to increase the stress load. And that's why the embryo may have not made it, or you've got a great embryo and it doesn't implant, or you've had chemical pregnancy or loss. All of this devastating. And you feel that there's nothing you can do, but no one's actually dug deeper here and giving you some clarity on the systems in your body of what's being missed for you. When you have clarity, it's going to protect your time, your energy, and your biology. If you're preparing for IVF or considering another cycle, I've created a free embryo audit checklist to help you see what often gets missed before stimulation begins. I was going to walk you through the key systems that influence egg quality, embryo development, and implantation so that you can have a more informed conversation before moving forward. Send a message to hello@fabfertile.ca, subject line checklist, or in the show notes, there's a link there to download it. If you've already tried IVF or you're feeling uncertain about whether your body is actually ready for the next step, a functional fertility second opinion may be the right place to start for you. This is a diagnostic review of your lab's history patterns, not coaching, not a protocol. It's looking to see high level, the systems in your body, what has been missed from a conventional standpoint. It's designed to help couples get some clarity before making another high stakes decision. There's a link in the show notes. Also send me a message at hello@fabfertile.ca, subject line fertile.